What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and this video is the next video in my Flutter UI challenge series, in which I am trying to recreate screens of a particular application, the furniture app. We have an entire set of UI screens, and then we are trying to recreate each and every screen in a video using our Flutter framework, right? So far we have seen how to do this screen, this product description screen, the statistic screen, and in this video let's see how to do this shopping cart screen. Okay. Now, on initial thought, it doesn't look like this design is. This design is really good, but he has added a pick of the week suggestion right in the shopping cart. I don't know why he did that. We'll cut this out. We'll cut the pick of the week and then just do the list of items. He also has added a small radio button. Radio button shouldn't be. We should have probably added a checkbox, right? So that we can choose the items among the list and then calculate the total accordingly. Radio button will allow you to pick only one item at a time, right? But we'll just take this as a design component as well, and then let me take a blown up version of this. Yeah, this is a bigger version, right? Let's just take let's just consider this entire button as a design component and then try to recreate this as it's there in this particular screen. So the items which are not available should be shown in red, as well as there should be a box called find similar items, and there is a bar that shows the total and the button that enables the user to pay for his items in the shopping cart. So yeah, let's get started guys. That's a good analysis of the design that we have taken in. This is my recorder, sorry. So this is a blank application that I have just scaffolded. I have some assets in the fonts and images in the assets directory, and I have added them in the pubspec.yaml file, as you can see here. Okay, and nothing fancy in this. I have already shown this in a lot of my videos. And as usual, this yellow screen in the background and these two bubbles I have already done for all the rest of the screens that I have shown, except product description screen. The other two screens I showed you how to do this exactly, right? So if you haven't watched those videos, kindly watch it once so that you can get an understanding of how we could bring this two bubbles inside this yellow background. Okay, that will be the initial part. So I'll just skip that now. Fine. Now we have our topmost yellow part, this part, and these two bubbles inside that particular section. Okay. Let's run this on a mobile device so that you guys can see where we are currently. You can see that this first section, as I said, this section is now over, right? Now let's go ahead and try to build all these remaining stuff, the UI stuff, in this piece by piece. Okay, first let's go ahead and do this back arrow. Fine, now I have a back arrow placed, right? Let's see. Yeah, you can see that on the screen as well. Then what we'll do is go ahead and do this title, shopping cart, right? So that's nothing but a simple text, guys. So I'll just skip over that. Cool. I place the text here. Now if I save this, it should automatically show the text on the screen as well, as you can see here. The next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and create these items, right? Now since these are repeated list of cards, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and have a function that returns this particular design. Okay, particular widget. Okay, consider this whole thing as a widget, and I'll have a function that returns this particular widget. So the parameters I would be passing to that function would be the title of the item, obviously, the color, the price, and the availability of the item, obviously. So all these stuff that I need to: title, price, color, and availability, and the image path. Yeah, I missed out the image path, right? And the image path. Now let me go ahead and do that. After this, I'll have another positioned widget, positioned, and in this I'll have top 150.0, and child will be column widget, and inside this column widget I'll add children. Fine. This children is where I need to have a function, and then I'll return the children from that function. So widget, what shall we call it? And the parameters that I'll receive here is product name, no, item name. That will be simpler. item name, color, price, image path, image path, availability, and one more, I'll have an index so that I can at the end I'll show you where this index is used. Okay, now let's go ahead and return something from here. Return inkwell. I'm using an inkwell so that I can toggle between selected and not selected, since we have that thing here, right? We have a button here that denotes the selected. Since this is selected, it's showing 248. So in this case, I assume if both of these were selected, it should show a 496, right? 248 into 496. Anyway, so in order to enable that selection, I'll do this inkwell. Inside this, I'll have an on tap function. This I'll write later. Okay. And after this, I'll have a child. This child will be nothing but a padding. Inside this, I'll give padding. Fine, you understand what I'm doing here, right? I have simply created a padding so that I can enable this small padding that I can do that, right, between the edges of the device and the card. So for that padding, I have given a padding here, and then what I'm doing is I'm using a container for as a child for that. I'm using a material as a child for that, so that I can give this nice elevated effect. And then I am using a container as the materials child, and inside that container I am simply specifying a padding in order to provide this padding, this one, and there is a small padding on the right side as well. And I am specifying the width as media query dot width minus 20. Why did I subtract 20 here? Since I already have a padding here and I already have a padding here as well, right? So that padding is nothing but 10, so that's 20 units. And I'm giving it a height, this entire height 150, and I'm simply specifying the color as white, and I'm rounding off the edges. I'll save this so that even if I save this, you guys won't be able to see that because I haven't called it here, right? Anyway, let's continue. I'll show it at the end. Okay, there's nothing fancy in this. You already seen similar stuff like this when we looked into the statistics screen. If you guys remember, for creating this card, we did a similar thing, right? That's exactly what I'm doing here as well. Nothing fancy in this. Now, as a child of this container, what I'll do is I'll have a row. Since a row would be ideal, we have a set of items in the horizontal way, right? So a row would be ideal, obviously. Row, and inside that row I'll have the widget column, and inside that I'll have main axis alignment, alignment dot center, children, and inside this I'll have container. Height will be 25.0, width would be 25.0. You understand what I'm doing here, right? This is the one that I'm doing. This small thing is the one, the button is the one that I'm trying to replicate. Rather than using a radio button, like I said, if you use a radio button, I won't be able to get these nice looking effects, guys. The gray border and the yellow circle and all that, right? That I won't be able to get. So I'm using a custom made button that I'll show here now. We can do that button simply using containers. I'll show you. Decoration, box decoration, color. If the item is available, it should be gray color, right? And if the item is not available, it should be red color. So first I'll check the availability. If it's available, I'll do colors dot gray with opacity 0.4. okay. If it's not available, I'll do colors dot red with opacity 0.4. okay. Now that we checked the availability, let's go ahead and give border radius dot circular. The radius will be half of the height and width, so 12.5. height and width is 25, half of that is 12.5, right? Fine. Now this is the outer one, this circle. okay, there is an inner circle as well. If you can see, that's the inner circle is the one that changes color, right? So let's have that as well. What we can do is simply specify a side child, and the child should be in the center. That's it. Oh, I am still inside the box decoration, sorry. I'll get out of it. In the center, this will be a child. If it's available, once again if it's available, then I'll check container. I'll give a container. Height will be 12.0, width would be 12.0, decoration would be box decoration, color picked of eye, colors dot yellow, if not colors dot gray, sorry, this is colors dot gray dot with opacity 0.4. fine. And I will specify border radius for this as well. Border radius dot circular, sorry, border radius dot circular 6.0. since this should also be a circle, so I am giving half of the height and width. Now we have this inner circle as well, right? We have the outer circle, and as the child of that particular container, I have specified the inner circle as well. The only thing is, what's this? Oh, what happened? Yeah, I need to specify a false statement for the false. I need to handle the false condition as well, right? Now what is this picked? So this is something that I'll be having in order to enable the toggle effect. So let me go ahead and write that first. okay. Inside this I'll have a list picked equals, I'll just hard code it now, but I'll explain how to populate this list at the end of this video. okay, in a or maybe I'll make a video. Next video I'll show you how to pull data from some other source and then place it inside this particular screen. okay, I'll do that in the next video. Int total amount, I need some value for the total amount as well, right? So I'll have that as well in total amount. And now that I have both, why am I doing this inside the stateful widget? I should do this inside the state. This is the state. Yeah, in total amount. Now I'll have pick toggle. okay, this will let the user pick or unpick an element of the list. So in this will accept the index. You remember that we passed in an index as well to the function, right? So what this will do is it will simply set state and inside this what it will do is picked index equals not picked index. Fine. Now that we have toggled, we will just give the get total amount. We will have another function. okay, this function will calculate the total amount if the user picks or doesn't pick the particular object. How are we going to do that? Unfortunately, there's another simple way. What you can do is get total amount I'll show this later on. Maybe we'll just proceed on with the design aspect first, and then we'll see how to do the calculations and all that. Fine. Now we have a function that will enable us to pick or unpick an object of the shopping cart. And what else we need to, now that we have done this, we need to do this and this as well, right? Those are just simple list items, so I'll just run through that quickly. We are simply inside that row, but we just got out of the column, and I'll give a sized box. Width would be some 10 units. Fine. And after that container, this would take in a height 150.0, width this would be 125.0, and decoration box decoration, and inside this I'll just give image decoration image. Fine. And inside this I'll give asset image. Rather than relying on my intelligence, it looks like if I type it will be faster. Image path. Fine. And after this I'll give a fit would be box fit dot contain, so that even if the image is bigger, it's just placed inside this particular container of this particular height and particular width. Okay. Now that we have done this, let's go ahead and do the next thing, this 3 text. Okay, text is, as I said, text is nothing, guys. I'm just going to be placing text widgets inside a column. That's it, right? So I'll just cut this recording here and then resume it from where I have placed those 3 lines of text. Okay, fine. I have placed the text here as well, as you can see here. This is where we left off, right? Now we have a column, and inside this column I have a item name that I gave here, and in that same inside the column I have a row, and I have the item name and the small text that denotes whether the item has been picked or not. I have a small text that denotes whether the item has been selected or not. So I'm once again using the boolean value from the picked list. And the next thing I'm doing is, if it's available, then I should show the item name and all the stuff. If it's not available, I should show a button, right? An outline button that says find similar. That's exactly what I'm doing here, as you can see here. If it's available, I am showing the color dot gray, this color, plus one oh, I didn't add, what was that color, right? Fine. And the third one is the price. Once again, if it's available, I should show the price. If not, I can skip it, right? So I am showing the price here as well. Let's call this function from our build function and see what this gives us. Okay, so from here I'll just do a fine. I have just called this once, and I have passed in a product name, color, price value, an image path, and a boolean value, right? That denotes the availability, obviously. Let's save this and see if I can get that on the screen. This looks, I'll just do the other 2 as well before, all I need to do is copy and paste this and change few values here and there. That's it. Instead of, cool, right? Now we can have, you can see that we have a list of 3 items. Fine. Let's just try tapping on one of these and see how this looks. It should literally work. The toggle should work. Okay, it didn't work. Probably because I didn't write the on tap function. Clear the debug console, some old errors. What was that? Picked toggle, right? if it's available, I'll simply enable this tab. So pick toggle of high. Fine. Now let's just save this. It should allow us to toggle this as well. Let's see. You can see that now as and when I type the list item, I get the small button in the center, right? The yellow color selected indicator, as well as a small X1 at the end of the row that denotes that this item has been picked. When I deselect it, it automatically disappears. Now we have a nice looking toggle as well that we can use to select or deselect items. Now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and bring in that bar here that shows we have completed building these items, right? We'll go ahead and bring this bar that shows the total. We have a button for selecting everything. We'll skip this part. We'll do this total amount and the pay button, as well as the bottom navigation bar. I have already shown that in my previous videos. You just need to have that bottom. Wait, after the body, you just need to specify bottom navigation bar and then build a well designed bar. That's it. This is where the body ends, right? Give a comma here and then do the bottom navigation bar. I am just using 4 icons. Wait, if I save this, you'll see how this looks. Cool, right? You just have 4 icons and the shopping cart icon is selected now. I simply hard coded the color. Okay, if I was using this in a real application, obviously this entire thing, this hard coding won't be done, and I'll probably using a tab bar so that I can shift through the layouts as and when I tap on the buttons. But since this is just a UI recreation, I'm just using 4 buttons on a material widget that I have placed at the bottom, and then this is how the bottom navigation bar would look. Okay, now that we have the bottom navigation bar, let's go ahead and create our last component, which is this bar that shows us the calculated amount as well as the pay button. So this is why I have placed a stack inside a stack, guys. I have used 2 stacks, right? Wait, I'll show you everything. I'll show you how to place the bar. You do the wait, just a minute. After this position widget, I'll have a padding, and inside this padding I'll have padding edge. Inside this container, I'll just give the container a height of 50. Okay, and width of double dot infinity. Okay, double dot infinity. Okay, and color would be colors dot white as usual. Then this will have a child that will be a row, and since I need a couple of right aligned widgets that I'll be using, I'll simply do main axis alignment for this row would be main axis alignment dot end. Main axis, what happened to my intelligence? Main axis alignment dot end. Text would be I'll skip this text part. Fine, I have a raised button here, and it shows just pay now. Okay, now I need to write a function that calculates this total amount as well. So let me go and then here get total amount. I'll write the function. So each and every time object is picked, I need to calculate the total amount, where count equals 0. Fine. For int I equals 0, I less than picked dot length I plus plus. Fine. If picked of I, if this is boolean, count equals count plus 1. Fine. If I equals picked dot length minus 1, which means that we are at the last element, right? If length minus 1 is nothing but the last element. Array indexing starts from 0, right? So if there are 5 elements, then obviously I should check whether if it's 4. If it's 4, then obviously I have reached the end of the array. So in that case, I'll do a set state total amount equals to 48 into count. Here I simply have a hard coded value, so I am just giving 248. In your case, what you would need to do is you have a wait. I'll try to explain this in a quick way, guys. Okay. See this here, since it was 248 and I just have 3 items that have the same price. Two available items that have the same price. I'm simply multiplying it by count and then simply displaying it. But what if you have more than what if you have items that are priced differently? That's an entirely different scenario, right? So what I would suggest is I would say this in a simple way. Hope if you guys understand it, you will probably get a clear idea. The thing is, as soon as you get the list of items from a data source, obviously the user will be adding items to his shopping cart as and when he shops, and then he'll be visiting the shopping cart when he checks out, right? When you get that list of items in the shopping cart from the data source, filter that list into available items and not available items. Okay, and take the available items, and for each available item you push a boolean value inside the picked list. Okay, this picked list, right? Now as and when the user selects or deselects an item, right? So in that case you need to calculate the price dynamically. Now if you have a list of all the available items, just run through the list. As I said, when you are running through the list and pushing a boolean value inside the picked item list, calculate the entire price as well, total price as well, and display that in the total amount. Now whenever the user deselects an item, okay, whenever the user deselects an item, you just need to subtract the price of that item, which will be nothing but price of that item of I, available items of I, available items list of I. Okay, total amount minus available items list of I. That will be the price of the amount whenever the user deselects. Whenever the user selects, then you need to add that price with the total price. That's it. You get it, right? I hope I didn't confuse you guys. If you guys didn't understand, kindly let me know in the comments. I will explain this in a clearer way. Or as I mentioned before, I'll do another video wherein I pull data from a Firestore collection or something, and then show you how to populate this collection, this screen with that pulled data. Okay, that will be a better way of doing this. Okay. Now that I have the price, I can simply go ahead and I already displayed that here, right? In that bar, where is it? I introduced a small bar somewhere. This is the bottom navigation bar. Yeah, here I have introduced a bar and total amount. I'll simply save this so that you guys can see the difference. It's 496. I have 2 items that I have selected, and it's 490. If I deselect this, it's 248. If I deselect this, it's simply 0. If I select this, it's 248. If I select this, it's 496. Since 248 into 2, obviously 496, right? So now you can see that we have a nice looking and working shopping cart screen. This is a little hard coded. I mostly have hard coded all the stuff here, and except for this toggle function, there is nothing fancy in this, right? But as I mentioned before, I'll make another video later on wherein I pull data from a real Firestore collection and then populate the screen with that particular data so that you guys can understand how to calculate this price in a better way. Also, you guys try out how this bar, okay, for now if I just scroll down, that bar vanishes, right? Vanishes behind the bottom navigation bar, but here the bar stays in front of the screen. So you guys try to do that. What you need to do is you should be able to scroll this list alone with the bar staying in place. That's it. So that's the reason why I use 2 stacks. But you might ask me, even though you use 2 stacks, it's simply navigating along with the list, right? One of the main reasons is that entire bar is placed in the first stack only. I didn't take it out of the first stack and then place it in the second stack. The other reason is this entire scroll is happening because of the list view. both these tags are children of this list view. So whenever the list view scrolls, both the tag will automatically scroll along with the list view. So this is the clue. Okay, you guys try it on your own. You just need to make this bar stick. This information bar that holds the pay now button, it should stick on the screen, whereas this alone should scroll. You guys try this. Okay, if you try and get it, I'll be more than happy, guys. Just let me know in the comments and I'll be glad that you did that. Okay, so yeah guys, this is what I wanted to show you guys today. If you like this video, kindly hit the thumbs up button. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and kindly click the bell notifications icon so that you receive a notification every time I upload a video. If you found this helpful, kindly share it with someone and help them too. I'll leave a link to this entire code in the description section below so that you guys can have a look at the code as well. So yeah guys, subscribe to my channel and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.